Latoya Design Co. presents real people, real stories, your inspiration. You're watching Raven Maven.
Welcome back to another episode of Raven Maven, and I'm really excited today to have Streetsy here with us. I would like to think of her as a Jane of all trades, storyteller, web and digital designer, creator of Fly-ish, as you say. Fly-ish for Fly Chicks.
Yes.
So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. So my first question, I guess, we'll get right to it.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you, how did you get into the creative industry?
So I started designing, I believe, when I was 14 or 15. My dad actually was the one who taught me graphic design and web design when I lived with him in Florida for a short amount of time. But I've always been the type of person to catch on to things really, really quickly. Mm-hmm. And I realized I really loved it. So I would stay up all night. He built me my own Mac. Yeah, my dad is a computer guy.
Yeah.
So I would just stay up all night and just design. And back then it was Black Planet and MySpace days and stuff. Yeah, exactly. So I kind of just got discovered my love for it at that time. And I think it took off from there, just learning how to do different things. And then YouTube came about, so you could watch tutorials and teach yourself other stuff. So I think it starts from here, my dad.
Yeah, so the dad is definitely the cornerstone, and probably one of your biggest influences, right?
Definitely.
Because I think I heard in another interview you did, that your dad used to work for ABC, he's in the business.
Yeah, so he was into film and everything. So I all of the artistic, my whole family is artistic, but the media and just the art, computer wise and camera wise, all of those things, I've definitely got that from him.
It's really cool. Only because I think, for me too, most creatives that I know, they usually had other people in their family who were creative. All of my cousins, and a lot of them are illustrators.
Or rubbed off.
Yeah. And from young, I always shown affinity towards that. Mm-hmm. So it's cool to know that you have these people that are cornerstones in your life that impact you in such a way.
In ways that you don't even think is going to when you get older.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm really big on that.
Yeah, and I can see that.
Yeah.
So, I know that you also work with your hubby. Mm-hmm. So, can you tell me, what are the pros and cons of that?
Of working with, in general? Or
working together. Yeah.
I would say the pros to that is just,
what I gotta think about that?
It's a lot of pros. There's no cons. So
right. Okay, that's good.
The pros are.
Okay.
The cons, I would say, is when we work together, a lot of people underestimate the role that I have. They just assume that I'm just the wife.
Okay.
Or you're the assistant, or you're just the person that's there to help. They don't realize how
your skill
we
sets
are.
Yeah.
So I would say that's the con.
Yeah.
Other people on the outside.
Okay.
For the most part. But working with each other is really smooth because we have different talents and skills. So it's not we're doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. So we bounce a lot of stuff off of each other. He's really good with film. I'm good on the creative end. I do web design, graphics, and he does graphics as well, but we have completely different styles. So,
right.
If there's something that I'm damn, I don't know how this looks. Can you tell me your opinion? He'll give me a whole completely different perspective on something.
Which is a good thing. Yeah.
And vice versa for him. I'm you should try to do it like this. So for me, it's just having a partner, a work partner, but you live with them and you're married to them. So it's dope.
I usually hear when people are together and they work together that the biggest thing is trying to keep whatever's going on at home outside, not bring it to work.
We don't really have that problem that much because we have a very similar attitude to most things.
Yeah.
So it's by the time we get home, it's just anyways, we off that. What we eating for dinner? We don't let anything bother us. So we just have that attitude. That's something that we both have.
Right.
So we'll talk about something and it's all right, anyways. We don't ever let anything,
you don't hold on to it.
Especially not people that's not in our life.
Yeah. That's good. That's positive. So I wanted to talk about also Whipping Jules podcast that you did. I listened to that. Thought that was really cool.
Thank you.
I
was rambling on that, like
but you know,
was I like internally drunk or something, high on life? Like I was going on.
But what I enjoyed about it, I thought it was really informative about who you were and about what drives you.
Okay.
So I wanted to talk about that. I think we could have probably seen a little bit talked about more. Okay. You can ramble all you want, but like about the hustles with goals, the girls' night out thing that you did.
Okay.
Girls' night in.
Yeah.
And I really thought that was an interesting event, and your plans to do another one. So were you happy with how that turned out? What was the genesis for the idea to do a networking event of that nature?
So the whole idea behind it was I felt like just within our community as like Black women or Black people in general, there's like this idea that if you're into certain things, you can't be a professional person, or like I know a lot of girls look on social media and all they're seeing is like strippers or like girls that's naked, and they feel like that's the only route that they have to go to be a professional or to make money.
Right.
But I'm just like, no. And then I would see a lot of guys that's like, oh, like it was a meme going around at a point, and it was like all girls do is strip and sell tummy tea or something like that. It was like something like that. It was something like that. And I was just like, wait, all of the girls I know are super dope. Like I'm on Twitter and I'm seeing girls that's doing things, and I'm like, wow, like everybody's. I'm like, I need to get everybody together.
Like, we're not all here selling waistbands.
Exactly. Like we're not all selling like body shapers and like the booty lifting up your butt. There's other girls that's doing really dope things out here, and I know them. Like this is not like imaginary. Like I know these people.
Yeah, these people are real.
So I was just like, let me just gather some girls together and let's have an event where we could just hang out and talk and ask each other questions and stuff. So that was just the goal behind it. And I don't know if I was able to say it on the podcast, but the reason why I wanted it to be a pajama thing was because I didn't want anyone to feel like they had to dress a certain way to fit in. Like, oh, I don't look, because we all don't have money to do that.
Right.
So I was just like, I'm going to make the pajamas. And, you know, you can go to Rainbows, Conway, or if you got bread like that, wear your Burberry, like whatever. But at least we're all in a comfortable atmosphere.
It's neutral.
Exactly. Yeah. So I wanted it to be a neutral setting where we're not looking at what each other is wearing.
Right.
It's not about, like, you could come with your bonnet on.
That was genius, by the way, because I feel like, you know, women, I think it's in our nature to be competitive with one another, with each other, and to be catty, be petty. And I think it's part of being a female, the female, gender. Yeah, that's just us. Like, it's naturally us. But at the same time, I think it was really for you to be that intuitive enough to say, oh, let me remove this so that we could focus on the goal, which is to empower one another, to have this sisterhood, which goes into what I want to talk about is definitely like supporting sisterhood and like this whole girl power, which it seems like you are really about that. And that's why you had an event like that, So do you think nowadays, because one could argue that a lot of people say they're all for sisterhood, but they ain't about sisterhood. Yeah. They talking that talk, but they're not walking it.
Everything is not aligning with it.
Yeah. So do you feel like it's a lot more of like, oh, I am like here to support each other, and then you're not really seeing it? And how do you think we as women, Black women, can do better? How can we improve that?
I feel like for the past like year or two, there's been this like women empowerment kind of like trend,
right? That
a lot of people are trying to capitalize on to make money,
right?
It's like, let me throw this event, let me throw a mixer, let me throw a networking event, let me throw it, and I'm just like, how about what are people leaving with? Like you're having vision board parties all year, but you're not following up with any of
Ain't no visions.
That shut up. It's not even that there's no visions. Like, right. I had a vision board party about 3 years ago, and I made binders. I gave, like, before you could even attend the event, you had to give me a list of your concerns or things you wanted to change, and I made binders with worksheets that tailored to what that person wanted to change.
Yeah.
Like, I go in, like, if
you're serious,
we're gonna make sure that, and I had my mailing list, and I added all of the visitors, like, not the visitors, people that attended, and I continued to, like, after the event, email them different, like, if I saw an article online I thought was interesting, I would, like, send them the link, like, yo, this is dope. Let's all start making our beds every morning because it makes us more productive. I
read that.
No, but you know, like, but it's a lot of people that are all this girl power, but it's like they're not sharing resources. Y'all just want to sell vendors lists to everybody and make money off of people. Y'all not trying to help anyone. But I do feel like in order for us to, like, fix it, we need to be more authentic about who we are as individuals.
Right.
Because a lot of us are pump faking, and we need to take time to get to know who we are as women.
Right.
As individuals.
Right.
Once you realize who you are, what you really want, then you're able to identify with people who are really like you.
Right.
And who have the same real goals that you have.
Right. And then you guys make things happen. Right. Yeah.
Because then you can find your tribe. There's so many different type of people out here, but you don't really know who you are, so you don't know who to hang out with, and that's why you can't keep friends and you can't help nobody because you don't even know yourself.
True.
So yeah, that's what I think. That
was a gem, guys.
I'm just saying.
That was like rose quartz dropped in the middle of the floor. No, but like I really want to, like, I appreciate that, and I feel like with you and your brand and what you're doing, I definitely think that is authentic. I recognize it. Recognize real. So I appreciate you for what you're trying to do, because I see it, and I think that's why, like, there's so many women that are attracted, because it's funny because I stumbled upon your page through Kaylin Kawhi, the other creator.
Yeah, that's my
mom. I adore her. She's amazing. And I'm trying to get her on the show, Kaylin. Come on. But she is amazing. And I was like, oh, like, who's the Streetsy person? And she's like, you know. So I went and looked, and I was like, oh, wow, Streetsy's dope too. Like, and I started following you.
She was on my panel.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
so, you got her on the panel.
I told you, I was getting everything. Like, it was like all-star weekend for me. Like, I chose my panel as, like, these are all the people I want to hang out with.
The dope people, yeah.
I'm not inviting y'all to my house because we don't know each other like that. But, like, how do I get everybody that I want to be around together?
Yeah.
And then that's kind of what I did. I was like, I like all of y'all, so I'm gonna just invite all of y'all, and then I'm gonna just let other people come. That's like how I did it. Like, because I felt like we all could learn from each other.
Absolutely.
And we all did different things. I had Kaylin, illustrator, dope artist.
Dope.
I had Miss Milan, a DJ. I had Brianna T. She's an event planner. Like, everybody was a different, like, had a different thing.
Different industry.
And everybody's like cool now, so it's dope because it's like now we all like, you know.
Yeah, I love that. Aw.
Yeah, and I even see some of the attendees that, like, they talking to panelists, and I'm like, look at that, look at everybody cool with each other now. Like, I love it. It makes me so happy.
Yeah, I could tell that it's genuine, and you really, like, that's what you're about.
Yeah,
so.
I was so happy.
No, for real, like, props to you for that, because we need more of that. We definitely do, especially in our community. You know, I was just ranting and raving with my friend, like, you know, it's Black History Month, and, you know, Black Panther is out. And, you know, people going to be Black Power for the next 28 days.
And then it's going to be back to...
Yeah, but we can do that all day with me.
I can't.
So, from your experience, what advice would you give other creative entrepreneurs to get started? And, you know, what steps should they take to... you know, maybe avoid certain pitfalls that you may have experienced in your career?
I think if it's something that you're trying to like make money off of, that you should stay firm with your like prices. Mm-hmm. Don't give away too much for free because people get comfortable and then they disappear when you start trying to charge them, and they just find the next person that's gonna do it for free.
That's gonna do for free.
So know your value, and I would also say it's to continue to learn and evolve, because there's always the new thing that's hot to do, whether it's on a flyer or a logo or whatever. So you have to continue to like expand and like make your talent better. You can't stick in Photoshop C6 or whatever, like the ones like from 3 years ago. Like, you have to step your game up. You gotta always like, and your work has to match your, like what you're charging too.
Yeah.
That
Speak on it.
What else would I say? I could go on and on. As a creative, you need to be like honest with the people that are coming to you for work. I would say that because a lot of people say that they can do things that they can't do.
Right.
Instead of just saying, you know what, this is not my style. Because we all, like, as a designer, we all have our own like, different style that we do things in. And the person would just be like, yeah, I could do it. Knowing that that's not within their style. And now you have an upset customer or just, I don't know, get to know yourself. Yeah. Like, take time to, like, cultivate your style, your swag. And then nobody, like, have your niche. Like Kaylin, for example,
figured out,
you know her. Like, if somebody else steals her work, I know it's her work.
I know
it's her work. Like, you have to be like that. People have to look at your stuff and know it's you. Once you got that, you good. Whether it's designing, whether it's hair, whether it's music videos, whether it's, it doesn't matter. Whether you cooking, making cakes, like your signature, create your signature.
Yeah, I agree with that. All of that, and I guess I would definitely add, when you, like, figure out, like, guys, if you figure out, like, who you are and what you are about, then it's easier for you to talk to the customer and explain to them the value.
Right.
I think a lot of times, creatives, we struggle with, like, especially with pricing, and I'm, like, learning all of this, I would say definitely over the past 2 years, and I've been creative for like 10 years, professional community creative, you know? And I think the biggest thing is that customers sometimes they're only looking at it like, oh, I just want this logo. And so you got to figure out how valuable the logo is to the client and what they're trying to achieve, because if it's not, whatever it is they need, if it's not really valuable to them, then you can't give them certain prices because it's never going to make sense to them because they don't see the value. Yeah. So it's like, definitely when you're interviewing or you're consulting with a client, I would definitely say you need to ask those questions and get to the bottom, the nitty gritty of that.
Like, what do you plan on doing with this? How long do you plan on using this?
Exactly.
Like, what are your future goals for your business?
Yeah.
And most people don't know
they don't have the answers to those questions.
That's why I made a business planner workbook.
Thank you. Plug that in. Get that workbook.
That's the reason why I did, though, because a lot of people don't even, like, they don't have a business plan.
They don't have a plan. So, moving on from that, social media, definitely very important for us, especially in this business. So I would love to know, like, how have you leveraged social media? Because, like, you're almost at 4K followers. So how has it helped you in your business, and how did you use it to, you know, generate more business?
So for social media, I kind of spent like a year just paying attention to what social media accounts do what for me, what type of people, because like I have like different communities on every single social media platform that I'm on, so I know what I'm gonna promote on what social media platform. So like, for instance, for Twitter, it's like a whole other world. You got Black Twitter on there. You got like but most of the creatives I know are on Twitter, so we have more dialogue and conversations and stuff. So like, if I have an event, like my Girls Night In, I promoted that mostly on Twitter. My Instagram didn't even know about that event until I put the pictures up there. And I had a really great turnout. Facebook is more like, people like to see words. They want to read things. So I speak more about business on there, where I could just verbalize things and worksheets and giving advice, where I'll go live on Facebook more. So that works out for me. And Instagram, I'm now getting like engaged within like the last 3 months. I got back on Twitter, Instagram, because I ignored Instagram. Like, I was over it. I was over the algorithm, but I realized that I need Instagram. Yeah. And for business, like, I've gained like a good 1,000 followers within like a month of me just being consistent and figuring out my target market and like how my feed works and stuff. So my sales, even though I don't have a lot of followers, I get consistent sales on a daily basis just off of my Instagram stories, showing what I'm doing.
I love your Instagram stories.
Thank you.
They're really good.
Yeah, and even just me speaking and showing myself working, I get more bookings for jobs for graphic design and web design. So
yeah, it's funny because, like, you know, I argue about this all the time about, the client cares about the process or not? But I think they do, because obviously they're looking at you and your process, and then they're contacting you after. Right.
Yeah.
So take that, people who say that
the
process doesn't.
It depends on the person. I feel like now everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. So most of the work that I'm getting is for people that want to start businesses. So they understand more. They care about the process more because they're working hard trying to build their end of the business. Right. So they see the value in the fact that you're working on their project and a whole bunch of other projects. So they're a little more comfortable with saying, you know what, this is not somebody that's just trying to take my money and do whatever. I'm seeing the process from when it's just drawn out to like the end of it with the music on it and stuff, and that's dope. So I definitely think that they like the process.
Yeah, respect the process, guys.
Yes, man, respect it. It's a process.
They think it's magic. I think sometimes people think it's magic. What we do, like they don't understand like the littlest thing. They're like, oh, just change the color.
And that's why I'm just like, yeah, I can definitely change it. It's gonna be an additional $25. And we can do whatever change you want. You want unicorns?
But that's out of the scope of the project, so I have to charge you.
I've had the craziest clients, and that made me learn to like, you have to stay, because people will try to get you.
Right. How have you, like, speaking of crazy clients, how have you, like, your worst client, how did you, I guess, mediate that situation so that at the end they didn't walk away? Like, were you able to both of you guys walk away and it not be like a total fail and they didn't have a good experience, you know? Because it's hard.
I've never had a total fail. Like, someone walk away. Like, see, I be cursing people out all the time. They just don't know. Like, they wouldn't, like, I keep my composure out all the time.
Right.
But to my husband, I'm like, do you know this person just
like he won?
I did have a client ask me for like some what is the word? Some neo-Nazi kind of like picture. Like this is the references they gave me. Okay. So like neo-Nazi kind of stuff. But then they said they wanted it to look like how the Star Trek intro is with the text that looks like it's going like this. Yeah. And I'm just like, how in your brain are you computing a motion graphic as a logo, and what is it gonna move on your web?
Like, what do you want it to do?
It was the most difficult. I was like, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do the logo how I feel like doing it. I'm gonna make 3 logos for you, 3 different concepts, and you're gonna pick one of them. Because we're not doing neo-Nazi stuff over here.
No.
You didn't tell me.
That's not the inspiration.
We were doing that. Like, it was a swastika.
Oh my gosh.
Like, he wanted it to look like, I was like, I'm not doing that. I will give you your money back.
This goes back to like the ethics too, like where we have to say, okay, do I even want to do this type? Because I've had like, you know, we were talking about a little bit about like there's other choices out there for women besides the sex industry. So I've had offers all the time of people from that industry as well. Like, oh, can you build me like a pseudo porn site? Wow. And I'm like, I could, but I don't know if I don't know.
No. So I mean, I would have. I'm not gonna say I wouldn't have did something. He didn't want a swastika, but that it just caught me off guard. He's like, I want something like this, and then I googled it, and all I'm seeing is all kind of Nazi symbols, and I'm like, why is this your reference? Like, this is not the idea you gave me when we had our first consultation. You had a whole other idea. I agreed to something else. You can't switch it. So it was like, that's kind of what the conflict was like, people don't know how to stick to what they don't know what they want. Right. And that has just made me learn to really consult and like help a person figure out what they want before I even say yes. Yeah. I'm gonna work with you because you're not gonna drive me crazy. Right. No.
Yeah. And I think too, like, I guess another tip we could say is definitely know what your process is so that you could try to minimize that from happening. Because I think it always happens here or there, but definitely. Like you can try to minimize it from happening.
It's trial and error. You'll like once you do things more, you'll figure out like you'll know how to like resolve conflicts better and to avoid conflicts. Right. Customers, clients, whatever.
So I'm really excited to talk about pieces. Definitely the fact that it won Best Cinematography and Best Actress in a Leading Role for the 2017 Urban Web Series. So I know you're probably like really excited about that. But It's an accomplishment.
It's an accomplishment. I mean, I'm not gonna act like I don't feel like we should have won all of the awards, but I'm being humble.
And you know what? You can't. I think with the award thing, you know, you got to enter those things. So it's definitely.
Well, we didn't enter.
You didn't enter because I thought you entered because when I looked it up, I was like, oh, like you got to enter, submit your work.
No, we didn't even. They just nominated us. Wow. Yeah, we didn't enter.
The work speaks for itself.
Yeah, but I still feel like we should have won everything.
That's good. You're confident.
It was just certain categories where like the music. I was like, how we didn't win best music when all of our music is original music.
Right. That's a good point.
But anyways, it's okay. We appreciate the nomination. Shout out to the Urban Web Series Awards. Thank you for giving us 2 awards.
So, Pieces. Mm-hmm. How did that come to, like, how did you guys come up with the idea of doing the show and executing it and everything? Like,
so my husband always wanted to work on his own project. He was doing film before that, like videos and stuff, because he has Battle Fest. So he always shot like cinematic dance videos, but he wanted to work on a project like that. Mm-hmm. And he didn't really know what he wanted to do. And I remember I watched I don't know if you heard of Ming Lee.
Yes.
She does the hair company, and her ads and stuff are always like super dope. So she did something called like Pink Friday, or I can't remember what it was, but it was like something where like, oh, I'm gonna get, like, she was acting like a drug dealer, and she was like, I need 100 kilos of weave. And it was crazy. It was like jumping out of cars and robbing the stores of weave and all kind of crazy stuff. And I was like, babe, you need to look at this stuff. Like, they going in with the promo for this weave. Right. But I was showing it to him on some, like, look at the cinematography. Look at how hard, like,
how it's done.
People are going, like, this is what people should be doing with their brand.
Right.
And he was like, yo, this is dope. This gave me an idea. So I'm like, what you talking about? And then, like, we know people in that lifestyle. I'm not going to get into all of that. But I have so many stories just from the past. And he was like, yo, yeah, we're going to do something. And it's going to be about girls taking over. And you know, everybody talking about scammer right now. It's like, yeah. So we just brainstormed. He wrote the story. He wrote the first, he didn't write the script, but he just kind of, like, wrote the synopsis of it.
Right,
and I was just like, boom, like. And he had the characters, and I think it took him like a month to write. Okay. And after that, it just was like go time. We were just like, we're gonna do it. Like, we're just gonna go for it because there's nothing like this out there. And
this is your first time like putting together, like producing
something like that,
like a whole series.
Yeah, that was the first time.
Yeah.
So he already had his partnership with YouTube. So we did the auditions at YouTube Studios, and we posted it on Instagram. It was like, yo, I was telling people word of mouth, like, hey, I'm working on a series. I think you would be great for this character. A lot of people that I reached out to didn't take it serious. I was like, all right, cool. All right, you're gonna see. You think it's not gonna pop? Watch. Right. And you know, we did have some people come out, and we happened to like find really great characters. They did super, like, when my boy Thriller, who plays Killer, when he came, I was like, that's Killer. Like, like, it's certain people, when they did their role 7, I was like, that's 7.
Thriller, you're too convincing.
Yes. So, you know, we did the auditions there, and we filmed, like, then we had, like, a cast meetup where everybody met with each other, and we just started filming. We filmed it, like, it took, I think, like, a week or 2 for us to film the entire series. Right. And we were done.
So, and my other question too about Pieces is like with the sets and everything. Like, how did you did all that beforehand? Figure out where you're gonna shoot, when? And,
we kind of got like all of the locations ahead of time. So we organized everything before filming. That was like my responsibility as the producer to figure out everyone's work schedule and see what days we could shoot what scenes. Figure out where we're doing it, what they're gonna wear, because we filmed everything by scene. Mm-hmm. So they would have to change certain, like, their outfits based on what episode it was for that day. So I had to organize, like, okay, you need to be wearing this, that, and the third outfit because this outfit is from episode 7. This outfit is from episode 3. Right. And we're filming all of that today. So that was like my responsibility to like organize that and make sure everything looks on point. So you could watch an episode and like half of those things were not even filmed the same day.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah. Locations, we had like some people's houses.
Oh.
YouTube studios, outside randomly.
And you gotta get permits for all the outside shooting?
You're supposed to.
She's like, we finessed that.
But my husband is really good at what he does, so a lot of the time, like, we would know, like, all right, we probably only have like 5 minutes before they come mess with us.
Like, stop doing that.
So let's get what we need and know what we gotta do. So by the time they come to us, we already have what we need.
What you need.
Everything else is just extra.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did that. All of those malls, we was not to be filming in nobody
mall. Yeah, because I was even in the store. I was like, I wonder how they did that.
Well, we did have some stores that let us go in there because we knew. Because
it's not exposure.
Yeah, but like the clubs that we shot in, they knew that we were there.
Okay.
But like regular retail stores like Bloomingdale's, Macy's, up in the no, we were not supposed to be in there. Like. We even had a scene where the cops came and was like, put the gun down, because they thought the gun was real.
Oh.
Could have got arrested and shot and everything. Yeah, it was crazy.
Oh, wow. And I was wondering about those scenes, too.
Because we were in front of a church, and like the people at the church called the cops and was like, oh, there's people outside with guns.
With guns? That could go wrong. Exactly. I'm happy it didn't. That could have went really wrong.
We caught it on camera. The cops came, like, ran up and just jumped out the car and was like, put the gun down right now. Yeah, that was a scene with Max. Oh, I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, I didn't get that far. I'm only in season 2, guys. You got to tune in.
Yeah. But yeah, get permits. Get permits. You do not want to get shot in these streets by the cops.
No, you don't.
Or arrested. Or summoned.
Yes. Oh, man. So, do you think you guys would do, like, another show like that? Not the same premise, of course, but just another series in the future? Or are you just going to work on pieces for now?
We would, if it makes sense. It takes a lot of money. We didn't have a budget, so we spent our own money to film it. Our last season 3, we were able to pay the cast. So we do another season or another show, we want to be able to like,
pay them,
pay people for their time. So it just would have to make sense, and we would have to have like a good amount of sponsors, and
you need some investors in this month.
Investors. We get investors, we'll do it.
GoFundMe.
Yes. Well, we did a crowdfunding already.
Oh, you did?
And that's how we were able to pay the cast and get certain locations and do things for season 3, which you haven't gotten to.
Yes, I'm excited.
So you'll see the level up.
The glow up.
Yes. But do shout outs to Vakila. They sponsored us with liquor. We had Fab Dolls hair. They sponsored with the girls with hair.
Oh wow.
For season 3. Hot Skull Frontal Leaf they sponsored. So we had some sponsors for season 3. It made it a lot better.
Awesome.
Yeah.
See guys, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
This is grassroots right here. You know? So I'm really excited now because I'm gonna do something new, guys. It's called What's That Gram, and shout out to Complex Hot Wings because I totally like spiffed their idea. But basically, what we're gonna do is go in Streetsy's Instagram, and I'm gonna ask her about some interesting photos.
Oh Lord! I wonder how far back you go in.
I didn't go that far back. I promise it's not that. It's not too far.
Like, I hope you're not like in 2012.
She's like, I don't even remember what day that was. But
what you picked.
So my first one is this one here.
Okay.
I see the rose quartz.
Yes.
So tell us what was going on. What's up with this setup?
Well, this is not my picture. It's a picture I stole from a page.
Okay.
I tagged them.
Okay.
I tagged them. And I want to have like a picnic like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to have.
So like, put it into fruition. Yes.
And I got a lot of people commenting saying they want to do it.
I think I was one of them.
So now I know when I plan it, I'm
gonna
like, hey, I'm having a little picnic and we're gonna camp. We're gonna get a little campfire.
And then I have another one here. This is your merch.
Yes.
So is this just like, check out all the cool stuff you got going on? I'm telling you, she is fly-ish for fly chicks. So, that's Streetsy's saying. So
yeah, pretty much. Those are all the things that I have on my website. And I was actually packaging stuff and there was some good sunlight. So I said, let me do a flat lay. Yeah, I was like, let me do a flat lay real quick. So that's actually what I did.
And finally, where is this? Because I was like, what's that? Oh,
that's on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. And they just, this kind of reminds me, like, that, I don't know if you ever seen that Google office where they have like the little desk and little table that goes in?
That's in the same building.
It's in the same building. Mm-hmm. Okay. And you guys get to shoot on there too. There. Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So that's really it. So thank you for being on the show. And if you could just share with everyone where they could find you on social media.
You can find me at Instagram.com/Streetsy. That's the name Streets with a Y at the end. I'm on Twitter, StreetCB. I'm on Facebook, StreetCB. If you Google StreetCB, you're gonna find me.
It's gonna come.
But put the B because there's like a graffiti artist named StreetC. So yeah.
And you guys could follow me or follow Toya Design Co. at Toya Design Co. on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. I tweet. And online, Toya Design Co. Make sure you subscribe to Raven Maven and like this episode and share it with your friends. And it's a wrap. Thanks for showing. Thank you for being here.